Wein's life had been fine before Jungkook. Actually, peaceful was the word. She used to finish her homework before dinner and spend weekends reading murder mysteries. Life saw her luxury and decided to bestow upon her misery. Her life had been peaceful. Then Mr. Han assigned her to tutor the football team captain. And that was the beginning of the end. It wasn't the tutoring itself that ruined her, it was him. John Jungkook. He was handsome, charming, popular, and above everything, the captain of the football team, the top ranked club in the high school. He took every advantage of the popularity he received. He also was very prideful and egoistic. Vine had always ignored him like he ignored her. He was always surrounded by beautiful girls and boys asking him for football advice and basically making connections with him because he had the potential to be a national player. Vine refused Mr. Han. She didn't want to tutor such an irresponsible and troublemaking student. Somehow, if Jungkook failed, that was going to put his football career at risk, and eventually the dream of the school to have a national player would go down the drain. Mr. Han somehow managed to convince Vine she was a nerd and a nerd to studies and teachers. She agreed. The tutoring started and brought hell upon her. Jungkook showed up 5 minutes late to their very first session with a protein shake bottle in one hand, a cut on his lips, and a smirk like he was doing her the favor. It was one of the rare times he was wearing the school uniform and not the sports jersey. His sleeves rolled up, tie loosened just a little, and hair slightly damp. He looked every bit of a gangster more than an athlete, and as much as it was supposed to turn off Ryan, she was annoyed at the fact she had to agree with girls who found him attractive. He didn't bring a notebook, didn't know what chapter they were studying, didn't even remember the teacher's name. He called him the one who blackmailed me to study. And despite that, he sat across from her every Tuesday and Friday like it was the most natural thing in the world, sprawled out in the chair looking as handsome as ever like a K drama male lead in a romance webtoon. And now, 5 sessions in, Wine was officially losing her mind. Wine, I swear to God, Jungkook, can you focus for more than 2 minutes? Jungkook, I'm focusing on you for the past 20 minutes. He smirked, she glared. Wine, on maths for God's sake. What are you, a poet? Jungkook, such disrespect. No wonder you're stuck here. She groaned and threw herself back against the chair. Today was no different than everyday hell. He had already spilled water twice on the table, left to use washroom once, dozed off twice, and now he was half flirting, half annoying her. One, you're such a kid. Do you understand we are holding these sessions so you can pass? You're a great football player. Why are you risking your career? Jungkook, nothing's happening to my career. Jungkook, let's get some coffee. I promise I'll study after that. He won't. One could bet her life on that. She wanted to kill him at this point. At a lot of points, she wanted to just drop these sessions and apologize from the teacher, but only if she had that kind of student who knew how to say no to a teacher. One, if you pass the upcoming test, I'll buy you coffee. Jungkook, that won't work on me. I want the coffee now. One, if you pass the upcoming test, I might add more to the package besides coffee. That piqued her interest. He raised a brow and straightened up. Jungkook, you mean that? Wine nodded. Jungkook took a moment and gave it a thought. Jungkook, I'm suddenly interested. Let's do this instead. If I clear the test and exam, you do what I tell you to. Every time. Wine, I'm not falling for that. Jungkook, come on. Nothing inappropriate, I swear. Wine, and if you fail, Jungkook, then I'll do whatever you want. Wine immediately yelled, Deal. It was the kind of opportunity for her she was never letting go. She was going to take her revenge of all those stressful days he brought upon her. Making him clean her whole home sounded nice, or maybe doing her laundry didn't sound bad either. How about standing with his hands up for a whole day? She laughed as evil ideas kept appearing in her mind. Jungkook smiled, grabbed a book, poked her in the cheek, and with a challenging look, and finally started to study. He was rude, arrogant of his popularity, and a nuisance when it came to studies, but sometimes she saw a side to him which he displayed rarely, a good side, where he helped her get back home safely if she got late after their study sessions or brought her meal when she lost her wallet once, without ever bragging or letting her feel anything about it. For the past 2 hours, he studied well, and she realized she was in trouble. He was not falling because he was weak in studies, but instead, he was just lazy and hated studies. Because now that he finally had the motivation, he was acing every question. The next day passed by in peace. They didn't have a study session today, and Vine loved every bit of it. Since she started to teach him, she got a lot of backlash. Just like now, she was suddenly a center of bad attention. Don't try to seduce him just because you got to tutor him, said a girl blocking her way. Arms crossed, she was bold. Wine gave her that, but she was no mood for that. Wine, maybe if you worked more on your grades instead of picking up fights, you would be the one selected to tutor him. Her smile was nothing less than venom. Left the girl burning there. Wine walked out and the girl didn't dare to mess with her again. Her eyes shifted to the football court a few meters away. It was honestly the first time it grabbed her attention. First time her feet automatically dragged her there and she found Jungkook playing. He was completely opposite of the Jungkook while studying. In here, he was leading, correcting his team's mistakes mid-run, guiding and coaching them. Drenched in sweat from head to toe, he seemed immersed. It was something he truly loved, and one couldn't deny that he looked beautiful like that. Truly mesmerizing doing something he was passionate about. While she was busy admiring him without knowing in her defense, the ball came flying to her full speed, and before she knew, Jungkook was standing there and protected her. He held her hand and weirdly asked if she was alright, a very K drama moment for him until she spoke with squinted eyes. If you hit me, I would have killed you. He pulled away, ruffling the back of his head. Cruel. Jungkook, anyways, what are you doing here, teacher? One, just to see what kind of trouble you're causing here and almost got hit by the ball. Troublemaker in the library and outside. I need to go home and read my novel. Jungkook, cruel in the library and cool outside. Do you want me to drop you home? One, that's an easy task. Just pass the test, otherwise you'll cry. She waved a hand and left, and Jungkook, he loved it. A girl not crazy over him. Such a diamond. He studied diligently, made memos, skipped outings, cursed at friends for distracting him, and the school was going crazy watching him study. He was proud of the test he gave and had already thought what he wanted. With his head held high, he received his test results and then he failed. Had to clean Wine's bathroom in return as a punishment and cursed every cell in his body. Next day, physics results. Failed again. Cleaned her porch. Another result, another failure. Cooked her handmade food. Although slightly burnt and not so tasty, it took him hours. Now the exams were near. The teachers were losing their mind and Jungkook was even more. He had never been so fired up in his entire life to pass an exam like he was now. He skipped football practice, literally skipped just to lock in and study. And why? Because he demanded a kiss from Wine if he passed the exam, and she shrugged and agreed so easily, as if she was fully confident that he was not going to fall. She still continued to tutor him diligently though, and Jungkook was not going to fail, he promised himself. The month passed by in a flash. He locked in at home most of the time and in the library the rest of the time. Messaged her midnight just to ask physics equations and restricted everyone from coming near him. And then the results day came. The results display on the board in the hallway, and the whole school was in uproar and drowned in sweat. Hell, they didn't even care about their own result. They stood there waiting for Jungkook to read his result. Since they all saw how crazily their star boy studied, he stood in front of the board and whined beside him. Once he found his name and the rank, pass, beside it, he yelled in victory, eyes wide, and immediately turned to Wyan. Jungkook, read it. Act fast. Wine was looking at it too, and for the first time, Jungkook saw a genuine smile on his lips and pride in her eyes. His heart skipped a beat. What was that feeling? Wine, congratulations. I'm truly impressed. Jungkook, I sold my soul. You better be more than impressed. Forget about that. Time for you to fulfill your part of the deal. Kiss me. The crowd behind them went still. It was obvious people were eavesdropping. Phones were halfway raised. The hallway felt like a stage now, and he was the actor who just delivered the biggest climax of the season. But Ryan, she didn't even flinch, didn't even blush. She stepped forward. Jungkook's heart tripped over itself, all cocky confidence training as she came closer and closer than he expected. His breath hitched. He had thought about this a lot more than he should have. He imagined how her lips might taste, how it would feel, a bold kiss, maybe shy, maybe something that would wreck him a little. He didn't expect her hand to gently tuck his chin to the side and kiss him square on the cheek. It was quick, soft, and completely paralyzing. By the time he turned back to her, mouth parted in disbelief, she was already stepping away. No fluster, no second thoughts. Jungkook, hey, that was not the deal. Wine turned around, walking backward through the whispering crowd, and gave him a sweet, innocent smile. Wine, a kiss is a kiss, Captain. Jungkook blinked, still frozen in the spot. She winked before disappearing in the hallway like a storm that didn't even realize it destroyed the whole weather system. The hallway erupted in chaos behind her. Phones blew up, girls screamed, boys groaned. The football team started shouting something like legendary victory kisses. But Jungkook was barely hearing anything. Because he was standing there stunned, hands still hovering over the cheek she kissed, and smiling like a man who just discovered a new obsession. She kissed him, and not the way he had expected, but confident, bold, playful. That was a side to wine he never expected to exist, but God, if that didn't turn his entire world upside down. Jungkook licked his lips, finally lowering his hand. Jungkook, alright, Wine, that was cute. But next time, it's going to be the lips.